All right, Mayor. We are on episode, which one is this? 4 of season 2. Yes. But we kind of did have a season 2 last time before the pandemic, but we had to kind of, shut it down. So it was more like season 2.1, I guess.
Yeah.
2.5. So, May, you want to welcome everyone to the show?
Absolutely. Hello, everybody. Welcome. Episode 4, season 2, Ras In 60. This will be another great episode, of course. We'll have some great guests on the show today. Our first guest is the executive director of My Brother's Keeper, Newark, Mark Kamasanis. Barack Obama's program still going strong since he left office. And on the second part, we'll be talking to some 2 tech, folks, Newark natives who are app developers, Drixon and Olivia Kaiser. And so I look forward to that discussion. It's going to be awesome discussion we're going to have.
Yes, I'm excited about both discussions, but especially the app discussion.
Yeah, for sure. That's up your alley there.
So I think we should, as we always do, go over our Newark updates and community news. We can talk about COVID-19, of course. We're going to talk about it until it's over.
Yeah, we still got free COVID testing going on throughout the city of Newark, free vaccines that you could get. You could check our social media sites, and you could definitely go to the City of Newark's website, or just go to newarkcovid19.com, and you can get everything COVID right there and get an update on everything that's happening. Our test positivity rate for 3 days and 7 days is about around 2%. And for most up-to-date information, you can also tune into the Facebook Live. I'll be on tomorrow at 5 p.m.
Absolutely. Every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, right?
Yep, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
So, of course, we got to talk about the State of the City. Yeah. You had your 7th State of the City on Tuesday, October the 26th, right?
Right.
And it was a great presentation you gave. It was a great production, of course. But I really loved, the quote, "Newark and proud of it." I think that was it's a very strong statement.
Yeah. And we need to, New York has like the Big Apple and all these other places, that people associate with that. And we need to create our own identity. And I think Newark, I'm from Newark and I'm proud of it, is, something that we need to affirm to people. So that's why that was the theme. We want to carry it on.
Yeah. And people are proud. I feel like whenever you're from Newark, you're proud of it. Yeah. Because it's not an easy place to be from. But, when you're from here, you're strong. Right. You could deal with almost anything.
That's right. And that was the whole message. Like, we going to get through this because we've gotten through so much more. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Absolutely. So how does it feel being at the 7th State of the City compared to your first one that was, years ago? So how did it feel walking on that stage for the 7th time?
I mean, you feel old, but no, it's just, at this point is like you get used to doing that because you have to. Mm-hmm. But it's always the same feeling when you walk on the stage. You still get nervous. You're still happy to see it. And I think this time more than ever, I was glad to look out in the crowd and see people. Right. Last time I did it, I saw a bunch of empty seats. Right. It's that the feedback, the call and response. It's always good to have people in the audience, Right. So it was good to see people out at NJPAC. Right. And I'm sure, like you said, it felt good to have people there. That energy, you feed off of that. Yeah. It's a good feeling. Yeah. Nothing. The virtual world cannot replace that in-person interaction. Not at all. Right. Okay. So we're not going to go over everything, but there were some highlights, of course. One of the main things that you focus on your State of the City address, of course, was our response to COVID. New York has definitely been highlighted. The president has been here, vice president has been here, and Newark has been doing an amazing job with our response from the beginning. So you have definitely, I feel like exceeded people's expectations when it comes to the response to COVID. I definitely noticed that. So yeah, I think it was, and it was an all-in effort. Mm-hmm. Everybody, we immediately hit the ground running and put everybody, together. We met like twice a day, every day for like 15 months. Right. And it was grueling, but it was necessary. And one thing it did, it kept us all abreast of what was going on. We were able to jump on top of issues. We come up with ideas quick and respond to crises really quickly. without having to call everybody,
Right.
you know, get everybody on board. Everybody was already, you know, on these calls all the time. So
Right.
we were consistent with making sure that those things happen and able to jump on problems as soon as they came out.
Absolutely. I know one of the things that stuck out to me, moving on from COVID, the public safety part was Newark is at a 50-year low in overall crime, 53% drop in homicides since 2013. I think that's really great to report. So for us to even have that statistic, it's good for that to be the statistic that we're public safety is like, you know, that's reflected of our public safety department. That's really good.
It is good. I mean, and you know, I had to, you know, be transparent that night and tell, you know, we experienced an uptick in the summer.
Right.
And, you know, people just got out of the COVID, they came outside, and it just, you know, the same thing that's happening in the schools and things that's happening all over the country.
Right.
I mean, somebody needs to study, like, people's response to what's going on with COVID emotionally right now, and it's just really all over the country. I mean, violence is up all over the country, more than it's been up since they've been recording violence.
Right.
So it's really crazy.
It is. And I did highlight some Facebook comments. You had a few people who were definitely excited to watch on Tuesday.
That's good.
You could shout out a few people. Comments. You got Marlene Crawford Walker said Newark handled the situation, especially through the pandemic.
That's good stuff.
A woman named Trinidad Della Rose said thanks to Newark officials, Mr. Carlos Cruz, and the mayor for addressing during the entire pandemic with food for families in need. People really love the food program. That's still going strong every Wednesday in Newark. And Gloria Anderson said, great job. I'm so proud to be born and raised here in Newark over 70 years and seen it rise. So I say keep rising on Newark strong. God bless. So,
that's excellent.
Yeah.
Great stuff. I mean, people love the food thing, you know. People need food, you know, and especially in the middle of this thing, you know, we've given out 8 million meals.
That's a lot.
Yeah, it's a whole lot. And we're still giving out meals. I mean, when it's all said and done, it's going to be incredible the amount of meals we've given out. We have to thank HelloFresh, obviously, for staying on board with us from the very beginning and just hanging in there, helping us deliver this food.
Absolutely. So let's move on to some other topics around Newark. So every month there's the men's meeting. They're back in person. You want to let people know about that?
Yep, the men's meeting is Thursday, October 28th. And we you know, gathering together. It is a discussion around how to build wealth and how to build community. Actually, the guest that was on our show last time, Alfred Edmonds, will be delivering a keynote there around building wealth at the men's meetings. Deliver the keynote, and so that's just awesome. Yeah, and it's a good chance for all of us to get together and talk about, you know, how to build our families, our community, all of those things. It's a great opportunity.
Absolutely. And he was very insightful. I learned a lot. And I think you know, that financial knowledge is, everyone needs to know that.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the 25th of October, the city's public safety department promoted 31 officers and supervisors. They had a ceremony at the Abyssinian Baptist Church.
Yeah.
Yep. So, and this included 2 captains, 4 lieutenants, and 1 acting lieutenant, and 24 sergeants. That's pretty good.
24 sergeants, yeah. I mean, we need the supervision. We bring on a lot of young officers. They need direction, supervision, leadership. And so we have to promote officers as we do that. And we have another class of 150 about to come into the academy right now.
That's good. It's really good. All right, moving on to rental assistance. So that is still something that people can apply for. Yep,
NewarkCovid19.com. You got to go there. We need about 6,000 more families to you know, register. You know, we have helped a substantial number of people, but we want to grow that number. We know that people need it, and folks need to get on that and fill that stuff out and not be intimidated by the paperwork and get it done.
Right. Okay, and people who've applied before can apply again, right, this time?
Okay. Yeah, you can apply again this time. You got to show need, of course, but you can apply again. Absolutely.
That's good. Good to know. And there's a new option as well, right, for social clubs. There's now assistance for them as well.
Yeah. All of the social clubs in Newark can now get money under the small business grant that we're doing around COVID. You can apply there as a social club and get some money towards your club at the same time.
That's awesome. It's great to know. And moving on to water.
Yeah.
We want to talk about our new numbers.
We're at over 22,000 lead service lines replaced. We are very, very, very close to ending this thing. Weeks away. I was even tempted to pause the state of the city until we did it, but I said, no, we got to go forward.
Right.
And, it'll get done. And when we do, we'll make a big hoopla about it.
Right.
Because it was long, grueling work that we did in an expeditious manner.
Right.
Defying all of the odds of people saying we couldn't do it.
How does it feel to be so close to the finish line? And, how does it feel?
The anticipation it creates anxiety. Like it's great. I mean, I can't wait till we get there. The state was telling us that it's going to take us 10 years to get this done, and we did it in less than 3.
That's amazing. During the pandemic as well.
Yeah.
The work did not stop. That's really good. All right. So before we work on the first guest, is there anything you want to talk about? Anything on your mind?
No, I think I said everything at the State of the City. No, but it's just good. I'm looking forward to the guests, coming on. I mean, Mark is a great guy, and I think that, my brother's keeper, we need to expand it and grow it and get as many young people involved in it as much as we can. So I'm excited about having him on. And he's a native Newarker as well. He's from this community. He has a background in education in this city at the same time. He was a social studies teacher at we called it Broadway Middle when I was a kid, but it's Luis Munoz Marin. And he's been doing a great job, man. And I look forward to hearing him talk about what his vision is for My Brother's Keeper.
All right, so let's bring on Mark. All right, so welcome to the show, Mark.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, glad to have you on with us. Welcome to Ras In 60, brother. Let's just jump right into the conversation, man.
Sure.
You want to tell us a little bit about My Brother's Keeper Newark? I know there are a lot of people who may not know about what it is and what the overall goals and objectives are, so that's a good place for us to start.
Sure. So again, first, thank you for having me. My Brother's Keeper My Brother's Keeper started in 2014 under President Obama as a response to the killing of Trayvon Martin. And it was a call to action for cities across the country to step up and think particularly about how we are supporting and serving our boys and young men of color. The city, under your leadership, took over that or responded to that call of action in 2016. And very early on, the My Brother's Keeper initiative was intentionally thinking about direct service, mentoring, meeting young people where they were. It has evolved across the country over the last several years and even locally in the city in thinking about how do we strategically actually advocate with boys and young men of color, and that with being important, right? Not for, but with boys and young men of color to support policies that impact their life, really by lifting up their voices and thinking about how do we bridge gaps that may exist between organizations that are serving them. And so that's the call to action. That's how it's evolved over the last several years, and that's the goal of MBK Newark, where we are today.
Yeah. But why do you think that's an important thing to have here in the city of Newark, and why did you want to be involved in that?
Yeah, I mean, so I'll take those questions backwards, if I may. I'm the son of public servants, right? Yeah. My father has been a pastor in this city for over 35 years. Yeah. My mom is a third grade bilingual teacher. And so, what I caught and what was taught to me at home was about service to others, which is why I went into education, which is why, I was participated in the opening of schools for Opportunity Youth. And so it's just been it's more of a calling, if you will, than a job or career, right? And so it's an expectation that was set on us very early on. I think it's important, particularly to think about boys and young men of color and the system that either supports or has not supported them if I could borrow something that I heard you say actually not that long ago, Mayor, and I've been wearing it out, but it's important, which is the city is resource rich, but it's coordination poor. And there are many organizations in the city that are serving young people, serving boys and young men of color specifically. And sometimes I think the left hand has not known what the right hand is doing. Sometimes those organizations have been serving the same young person, where there are other young people maybe who are sitting who were still on the bench, if you will, waiting to get tagged in. And so I think thinking about it from a citywide strategy level, thinking about it from a policy level, right, and thinking about how do we see boys and young men of color as assets in solving these challenges rather than them being the problem to be solved is extremely important to try to move the city and our boys and young men of color forward.
That's a great way to look at it, you know. Yeah. They don't need to be fixed, but the system and the policies need to be changed. What do you think some like one or two most important things that you think you need to accomplish to get this thing really moving?
So there's I come to this work as an educator. I've been in education, basically all my life, and so one of the things that MBK is going to be setting out to do is to think about how do we incorporate more men of color as teachers and educators in our city. So that's definitely one of the areas that we're looking to spearhead some work and learn from those organizations locally and even across the country who've been doing a lot of that work. The other is reimagining public safety, which is thinking about how do we leverage young people in that conversation around reimagining public safety, especially considering that they're the ones who are, most at the brunt and front lines of when you think about either policing or public safety in our communities. Mm-hmm. And so we're doing that actually excitingly with the release of a Reimagining Public Safety in Newark report that's being released actually today. This evening, we're having a student roundtable discussion with community stakeholders about the release of that report. Right. And I think that event in some ways is a microcosm of what we're hoping to accomplish and what I think is one of the greatest levers, which is, I think in the city we and I know I've experienced it for myself, I eat the fruit of trees that I didn't necessarily plant. Right. But those who did, provide that fruit, the Richard Ropers, the Junius Williams, the Linda Carters, who are still, doing work in this community, having them being able to sit with 16, 17, 18, 19-year-olds who are in our city, who are the future trees, right, that have been planted and will give fruit, to have a conversation about this at a city level and bridging that gap between generations, if you will, I think is extremely important.
Absolutely.
I agree with that. So is there anything else you can reveal about this report? This report that the Reimagining Public Safety?
Yeah, I think the report kind of takes a look at what public safety looked like in the city prior to the 67 rebellion. Mm-hmm. I think some people think Newark started in 67, right. Which is not true, right? Mm-hmm. And so it takes a look at what public safety looked like in our communities, how oftentimes that public safety relied on the public, right? Like we took care of each other and ourselves. The 67, it talks about then what happened in the 67 rebellion, kind of the spark, if you will, that ignited at that particular time and how it had been building over some time, and then looks at everything that has happened after, from the 2016 consent decree to where we are today, with a lot of the initiatives and things that we're seeing in the city under your leadership and under the partnership of CBOs across the city.
Definitely. And what was the inspiration behind getting this report done?
So I think a lot of it came from having seen, again, I'm going to borrow something I've heard you say oftentimes too, Mayor, which is, well, a lot of times people were talking about stuff. There were things that were already happening and we were doing already in the city. And so I think before things became, dare I say, a hashtag, there was work that was happening in this city, from the Newark Community Street Team's work, under the leadership of Akila, the work that Equal Justice was doing under the leadership of Will Simpson, the work of Robert Clark with the Opportunity Youth Network. Like there was work happening in this city, and And I've already, although I've been in this role only, a few months, started to get outreach even from other communities saying, what's happening in Newark? Like it's I'm a little biased because I'm a son of this city, but I think Newark oftentimes lends itself to be a really good spearhead for things that would work at a national level, because although we're large locally, we're still small enough in some ways. And so historically, Newark has been kind of that spearhead, the way Newark goes, oftentimes many major cities go. And I think the impetus for the report was to be able to collect a lot of the work that had been happening here, show where we learned, where we bumped our heads. We haven't solved it all, but see if we can in some ways, help other communities who are struggling with the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, I heard, before you go, I heard Obama say at the rally at Weequahic Park that the key is to make things better. He said, and which really hit me hard was, he said that he couldn't give every American health care, and he wished he could have, but millions more got health care because he was there, which is like, that really like puts the dot on the I. Like that's it. Yeah. That's what you're supposed to do. People expect you to do everything, but he pointed out that he did everything that he could do at that particular time, which was good. And so, I mean, some of the takeaways from the report would be what?
I think some of the major takeaways are reminding the community that public safety does not depend just on this idea of the police, right, and policing. That we all community stakeholders have a responsibility in the idea of public safety. I think that's one major takeaway. I think another major takeaway then is kind of sub-bulleted to that is the role community-based organizations play in public safety, and in part of that collective strategy. And so I think those are the two major takeaways. I don't want to give it all away. I'm hoping I whet enough of the appetite for people to go read it. But that's what I think are some of the major takeaways.
Okay. So I've heard of My Brother's Keeper in Newark. I guess there are people out there who probably are curious how they get involved, how can they volunteer, or how can they even be a part of the organization?
Sure. I think the easiest way would be to go to mbknewark.org. And there's a bunch of resources there. Many folks reach out to us with the hopes of mentoring. And so I think that's, one of the things that we definitely are able to do. Although we do not run any mentoring programs directly, we partner with mentoring programs in the city, whether it's Mentor Newark or Big Brothers Big Sisters and others, that we're able to tie, both city residents and even, folks in the surrounding area too, who are doing tremendous work with young people also. So I think those are some of the best ways and easiest ways to get involved.
Okay. All right, Mayor, anything else you want to?
Yeah, just, before we close out, just what are some of the things that you're probably most optimistic about as you move forward in this work?
Yeah, I see hope in all of our young people. I see a desire and a hunger for more. And I think that's a consistent wave that if we lose hope, then we're stuck. But particularly in our opportunity youth, who I've had the most experience working with, it took sometimes a lot of courage to walk away from traditional systems and take a risk, even though you still want something better for yourself. And I think, I'm really optimistic in the courage that our community has shown consistently, even through a pandemic, and the hope that I still see in our people's eyes every day.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
Right. Yeah.
Thank you, man. Thank you for being on the show for us. We look forward to seeing the report come out.
Great.
And get spreading the word about getting people to check it out and read it, man. So keep up the great work, brother. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
So, Mayor, one thing we haven't talked about in a while was your playlist.
Yeah.
So who are you listening to right now?
Oh, man. I'm listening to like a lot of Afrobeat stuff.
Okay.
Wizkid.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, is this song called how you spell it? JWE. I don't want to say it wrong. that I'm listening to. I'm just listening to mad Afrobeat stuff right now, and it's got me going. I think that like it has the hip hop feel.
It does, yeah.
But it has like the African beats like go hard in the back. It's really crazy.
Yeah.
I want to tell you. That's what I'm looking for.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Babisa Kade. Yeah. Okay. It's called JWE. Yeah, that's what I'm listening to, and listening to a lot of the South African club music stuff. It's crazy. So I've been listening to a lot of that now. They have this thing called the piano movement. It's a lot of club music with a lot of piano riffs in it.
All right.
It's really nice. It's like jazzy and African and clubbish at the same time.
All right, I gotta check that out.
Old school Zanzibar.
My mom used to be there back in the day.
That's terrible. Yeah.
All right, so you want to welcome the next guest?
Yeah. We're excited to have a conversation with two tech leaders in our area, Drixon and Olivia Kaiser, siblings. Newark natives develop an app called Circulate. It is an app that is a go-to hub for Black-owned businesses and professionals. The purpose is to help circulate wealth within the Black community. So I'm really excited to talk about that.
Yeah,
so let's get them on, Drixon and Olivia.
Yep. Well, we're glad to have you both on. And I just want to start off by saying great marketing, Circulate. I see it on your mask. That's awesome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for coming on with us. Talk a little bit about your app and the things that you're doing. And what inspired you and all of that. So we jump right in and you talk a little bit about what inspired you and a little bit about yourself maybe.
Sure. Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
We are elated.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will start. I think what really set it off was the protests, the George Floyd protests, right? I've always had a passion for my community, right? And he's always been a genius. So we just put our heads together and then we've created this. And that's really it. We were just very, very inspired by what was going on outside, and we were seeing everybody, come together. So we're like, what can we do to make a big footprint here and do what we have to do our part. So I don't want to get straight into like exactly what it is yet. You want to say something?
And then I remember on a particular day, we were going back and forth, and I think she posed the question like, what would have happened if, that store was Black owned? Would it still have, would it have been called or not?
Right.
So that eventually evolved into like, how easy is it to even find a Black business in your area?
Yeah.
Nobody visits the second page of Google. So, yeah. And then we looked for what was already on the market. We weren't really satisfied with what we saw. A lot of things were outdated. We called up a few businesses.
Yeah.
They were hit hard by the pandemic, barely hanging on. And we just took it upon ourselves to just do it.
Mm-hmm.
It's good stuff.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Black businesses in Newark. Hopefully,
definitely
they can get on to that Circulate thing.
Yes. Oh, yes. I've been on foot trying to reach all of them. It's a lot.
On foot. That's inspiring.
Yes. Yes, on foot, definitely going there and meeting them. But I love doing that, though. I'm definitely a people person. So I love to be able to shake hands with them and hear their story, one-on-one.
Yeah, I know there's at least 3 or 4 new ones on Halsey Street.
Yeah.
As well. So I heard it take a long time to get these apps off the ground and getting it going, and so what has been your struggle with this, and where are you at this level?
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. So on my side at least, like I'm the technical founder. So teaching myself how to program has been really hard. I have to account for what it'll look like on desktop, what it'll look like on iPad, what it'll look like on iPhone, what it'll look like on Android, and it takes me a long time. So right now I'm battling getting Circulate on the App Store, which is kind of awkward because I already have another app on the App Store. Mm-hmm. But it's just a constant grind. And then for Olivia on the marketing side, I'll let you talk about that.
Sure. The struggles that I have with the marketing side is really just the outreach and exposure. You know, I'm one person, so it's like I can reach but so many businesses in the amount of time that I need. And what we're trying to do here is definitely time sensitive, especially when you have the attention of so many other people who are considered our allies in this fight, you know? Once we grab their attention, we want to keep it. So that's why I feel that it is time sensitive, and it's difficult for me because I'm one person. So where we're at now is we would love to just expand. It's time to like expand our team and keep doing what we're doing. That's where we're at.
I know you can expand by letting me have one of those masks.
Yeah, there you go. The mayor will wear it. Look.
Absolutely.
So I wanted to ask, how long did it actually take to develop the app from the tech side? Like, how long did that take?
Okay, so started, I guess, July of 2020, and then we launched our initial carnation November.
Okay.
It didn't look too good, but that was our first official launch.
And you created it from scratch, right? Like just the code, like everything?
From the ground up.
That's crazy. Wow. Yeah, that's crazy. So I heard about the app because I know I think it was last summer or this summer.
Yes.
There was an issue with like you created the app last year, it came out, and then Diddy also created an app similar, and that's how I heard about it. I'm like, wait a minute, like, can you explain like what happened there, or like what the issue was? Because you guys came out with your app in 2020, and then Diddy came out with an app this summer, right, or this year?
It was
in April.
Okay, April this year.
April, end of May. So he announced it, and when we got the announcement, we thought, dang, like that's it, we're dead. Because imagine trying to go after venture capital, like, hey, we're Circulate, and then they do a Google search and Diddy pops up. So it made things really just a bit awkward for everyone. And long story short, they agreed to change the name. We're on friendly terms.
That's good.
But it was just initially there was some controversy, but I'm glad we got it cleared up.
Yeah, definitely glad. Yeah, that covers it. You good?
Yeah, for the most part.
We'll keep it vague. Yeah.
That's good. I mean, the good thing though, it brought you a little bit of notoriety,
Yeah.
Yep.
right? And you just have to take lemons and make lemonade, right?
Exactly.
That's the plan.
Do something great with that. That's that, of course, and it means great minds belong together, right? So
Absolutely.
At the end of the day, why'd you two choose the genre of app development as your focus though in this tech space? Why did you choose to do the app? I mean, it's probably a bunch of other things that you could have done. Why did you choose to do it in a form of an app?
For me, it's a psychological thing. I have Instagram as an app on my phone, but Instagram has a very good experience on PC, on like Google Chrome, but there's something about having that icon on your home screen that just makes it special. So we're appealing to Generation X, we're appealing to even our own generation, our Zillennials. But to have an actual application, we felt like it was a brand new approach to things. Anybody could say, hey, I have a website. But to say you're available on iOS and Google Play, something else.
It's certainly something else, right? So what are some of your plans to get this thing marketed to people, to get it in their hands?
Okay, so since we're a tech company, and Circulate is just one of our services. So building apps is just one of the services that we're providing for our community.
Okay.
Because you're correct, there's so many things that we can do, and we plan to put our hands in everything we can possibly do. So building the app, that's just one of the things. So regarding that specifically for the marketing, so far it's just what we've been doing, on foot, just talking to people, getting in people's faces. But the connection for me, that's the biggest thing, is that connection. When you trust somebody, when you know that they're genuine and that they're looking out for you and your people, you're very much inclined to want to help out and want to, partner with them, big or small, it doesn't matter. Anything helps, anything. So I think I just want to continue to keep building the connections, but we are still thinking about and diagramming how we would do it in a more efficient way to get a much larger audience,
Right.
Yeah, exactly. There's a lot of, especially in the city of Newark, City Hall, I would like to find somebody in there that's willing to, there's grant opportunities. I don't really want to venture capital as, slippery slope, but really just to as she was saying, networking, getting access to these to the people that care about what we're trying to do. We're ready to go, full throttle and just scale up.
Yeah. Well, I definitely think y'all could do it. I mean, you're young, ambitious, and it can be done, and you got the right idea. I feel like apps are like a piece of that business you're always carrying with you.
Yes.
So it's like the best marketing tool. I think so.
Absolutely.
I do want to ask, how many businesses so far do you have registered on?
Right now, I think we're at 750.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's good.
That's good. Yeah. So is it only in New Jersey, or is it New York, or is it all nationwide?
Right now it's nationwide, but since Olivia goes on foot everywhere in the tri-state area, the majority of our businesses are North-based.
Right.
Okay. That's good.
It's good stuff.
Thank you.
Yeah, we got to get you to come out to some of the men's meetings and talk about that. Pass the information out and get some of the new businesses on there, for sure. Yeah, we got to get you to do that. That would be awesome.
Yeah, and I know Newark does have a tech week, right? Yeah, that'd be awesome to even have you.
Yes.
You both be a part of that.
Yes.
Any advice you give to other young people out here trying to get into the entrepreneur world, do the things you're doing?
Of course. I have so much advice. Like, do it. Do any doubt that you have, forget about it. Because everything in this world is for the taking, like everything. Do it. Just do it. That's really all I have to say is just do it. Go for it, because there's always going to be people who are going to help you, always. You are never alone. Never. Especially here in Newark, you're never alone. On the way here, not to, get all deep into it, but on the way here, walking from the train station, I watched somebody just bring a little chair for the crossing guard. And, he's not saying, oh, can you buy it from me? He just brought it because he saw her just standing there. He's like, would you like it? We're never, we help each other out, You're never alone, so just do it. Do whatever it is whatever. It doesn't matter if you thought about it by yourself, if you think you're copying somebody, it doesn't matter. Do what you want to do. Do it.
I agree wholeheartedly. I think for me, find somebody to inspire you. Wouldn't have been able to do this alone. And it's been very hard. We've slammed so many doors. I think during the summer, just every single night, somebody was slamming that front door. But we both believe in the dream. She truly does inspire me. And you can kind of just get lost in that dream, that idealized version of what it means to have your product successfully out in the world. So find somebody to inspire you and find something that inspires the both of you.
Right.
That's awesome.
That is awesome.
Yeah. All right. So I'm trying to think what else we can ask. So, how do businesses become a part of the Circulate app? Do they just download the app, go to the website?
Yeah, it's fairly easy. You download the app. You can also do it on the website too. You could do the web app. Once it's downloaded, you just follow the steps. We made it that easy because why not? Why not make it easy?
So exactly. Right now on Google Play, you just download the app. And I try to make sure that the app mirrors the website because, some people just don't have access. But and on iOS, you would go to circulateapp.com/add-business. And it takes maybe 5 minutes to get your business added. Made it quick, super intuitive. And right now, don't tell anybody, but I'm working on something to where I'm combining all the pages into just a single homepage.
Oh, that's what's up. That's exclusive. There we go.
Exclusive.
Right here on Ras In 60. That's
good stuff, man. I wish you guys the best. Is there anything further you want to discuss about this that we should know, the listeners should know? Yeah.
I would like to say that one of the biggest things that we're tackling here, that we're attempting to tackle, is the wealth gap, the disparity going on here. And we want to use group economics. We would like to teach, all of the youth and just anybody who doesn't know too much about group economics, because that is what, that's when, for people who don't know, the definition is really when like a collective group pools their money together and it benefits a common interest. And I feel like for our people in our community, our common interest needs to be generational wealth. So with group economics, we can achieve that, no doubt.
Absolutely.
So that's the end all be all goal with everything that we do.
Yeah,
group economics.
And we have a lot of family in Denver, and going out there during the summer, they have rec centers everywhere.
Yeah.
So, and that's actually supported and provided by their middle class. So for us to have, a black middle class, supported by group economics, that's kind of what we live by.
That's awesome. All right. So I want to, before you both leave, I think you should shout out your high schools, your colleges, where you went to school.
Sure.
100%.
First.
All right, so Science Park.
Okay.
Graduated last year. I'm currently at Montclair. Shout out to Roger Leone. He got me in there when I was going through it, and I really, shout out to him.
All
Love the
right.
superintendent.
Nice. I'm going to give a big shout out to Rutgers Newark, everybody that's a part of Rutgers Newark, anyone that is colleagues, professors, shout out to everyone, all the resources there. I love Rutgers Newark.
Hey.
All the Rutgers, of course, but I go to Rutgers Newark, so.
That's what's up. Shout out to Rutgers. Look,
Yes.
Yes.
You know, Nancy Cantor, that's my people. So
Yes.
shout out to her as well.
Shout out.
Thank y'all for coming on. We appreciate
Thank
you.
you
Keep up
so
the great
much.
work. I'm inspired by the stuff that you're doing. Look forward to seeing you guys grow and expand and catch you on, one of these Black Enterprise shows or one of these other things about how
Absolutely.
you guys have done so much. So I appreciate you getting on the show.
Thank you.
And don't forget this little people when y'all get so big.
They're going to be on Afrotech soon, right? They're going to be all over. All right. Thank you.
Thank you
Thanks
so
for having
much.
us.
I'd like to thank everybody for listening and watching. And you can find out more information about our first guest, Mark Comisanis of My Brother's Keeper Newark at mbknewark.org. You can learn more about our second guest, Drixon and Olivia Kaiser, on their social media page at Circulate the App or circulatetheapp.com. Follow our City of Newark's Facebook page at facebook.com/City of Newark. On Twitter, our handle is at City of Newark NJ, or you can follow our Instagram account, City of Newark NJ. Also follow me on Twitter at RazJBaraka or on Instagram at RazJBaraka. And you can also follow my Facebook page at facebook.com/RazJBaraka. Again, thank you for listening, and please share the link with your social circle. Remember to tune into the next episode of Ras In 60, premiering on Tuesday, December 6, 2021. Remember, we release new episodes each first Tuesday. And remember to use the hashtag Ras In 60 if you'd like to ask me questions or make comments about what you've heard on this show. Thanks again, and great things in business are never done by one person. They're done by a team of people. Steve Jobs. God bless you.
Thank you, Mayor.